As you can see in the shot here, I have two identical floats. The only difference is that the top one is more shiny compared to the bottom one, and the bottom one is just off the shelf as you would buy in the shop. The top one has a coating which makes this float many times stronger than the one of the shelf. So in this video I will demonstrate how you can make your float many times stronger. Before going any further, I must explain why you should consider coating your floats. As you all know, most of the quality floats are made out of balsa wood, and even though it's very good material, it's quite fragile. So most floats are just covered with simple paint which is not very durable, and those floats are getting easily destroyed, and they are quite expensive as well. So if you can cover or coat the float with very slim or thin film, which is hard, then it obviously means that your float will serve you much longer. And now how it's done. Basically all you will need, very basic materials. That's a baking paper or any paper which is slippery or has quite even surface. Then a lighter or a heat gun or something like that. And then the most important bit, I use Gorilla Glue. It's kinda waterproof glue, which is ideal for the floats because you can like spread it and make the layer quite thin, and that's great. Okay, so how you do it, basically all you do, so you take one drop of that glue, then you grab a lighter, and the glue is quite thick. Obviously you can put it onto the float already, but you want to make it a little bit like thinner by heating it up. Obviously you want to put the lighter just probably for a second, just observe. And now this glue is much thinner. And next steps are very simple. You just grab the float and start applying the glue onto the float. Again, you want to have a thin layer as possible really, and you must make sure that every single area of the float gets covered with the glue. Again, you don't want to rush at this point. If you see that you are running out of glue on the paper, you just put a little bit more of that glue, just maybe another drop on the same piece of paper. Again, it must be thin. If you will put very thick layer of that glue onto the float, you will just ruin the float. You want to take your time and apply, as I said, on every little bit of the float's body. That's more or less okay. So once you are happy with how the glue looks like, or how the coverage looks like, so you don't have any like dry spots or areas, then you put that used paper aside. You can kind of double it over just to make sure it won't stick somewhere else. Put it aside, and then you are supposed to grab a fresh piece of paper, and then you kind of wipe the excess of the glue from the float, and by doing so you will make that paint, or glue should I say, much smoother. As you can see, the float starts to shine already. If you need, you can grab the third paper, but in this case I'm doing it not for the first time. I will be fine with 2 papers or pieces of paper. Okay, that's more or less okay. If I want to, I could remove the excess just from the antenna, because you don't want too much of that glue onto the antenna, because it will be less visible if you like. Okay, once you've done that, the next thing is just to grab a lighter and run with the lighter along the float very quickly. Again, you will make the glue a little bit thinner and will kind of disperse the glue through the body of the float, and obviously it will make the float stronger and more even. As you can see, I'm kind of baking that glue onto the float, and that's it. I'm happy with how it looks like. Now all I will do, I'll put that float somewhere where it will dry out, and it will look exactly as the one I showed you at the start. So if you would compare the one which I haven't done, the difference is visible immediately. But it will be it from me for today. I hope you'll find this video useful. Also, I hope that your float will last much longer once you did what I said and demonstrated. Also, don't forget that you can apply multiple layers, so once the float dries out, you can apply another layer, and then your float will be more or less indestructible. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.